What's your favourite game ever made? Ever since I was a toddler, I was playing Sonic the Hedgehog on the Sega, and then I had the PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, 3, 4 and 5. I have played hundreds of games over 20 years, from Ultimate Spider-Man to Red Dead Redemption, Mass Effect, Crash Bandicoot, The Witcher. But if you were to ask, Ross, out of all the games you have played, what's your number one game of all time? 12 years ago, when I was at school, a friend of mine mentioned to all of us at lunch, have you guys heard of this new game coming out in November? He said that there was this new Viking looking game where you can run around this map that looks like Scotland and fight dragons. That was the first time I heard of it, you see. I remember that moment as if it was yesterday. That Christmas, it was the one thing I wanted more than anything, and Santa got it for me. Everyone in my friend group at school bought it. The FIFA gamers, the Call of Duty gamers, all were united playing Skyrim that Christmas. We all spoke about it and it blew all of our minds. Fast forward almost 12 years later, and I'm still playing Skyrim on the PS5, and no game has ever topped it for me, and it is my number one game of all time, and I'm going to tell you why. It would mean the world if you liked this video. Liking helps YouTube share my videos, and it helps my channel reach new people around the world. Thank you. Skyrim is a game changer. First releasing in 2011, it is still being played today by millions of people. Why? Why has Skyrim had this much staying power? It's a mix of an incredibly interesting open world map that's absolutely loaded with things to do, the enemy variety, the unmatched feel of total freedom to play and do whatever you want, the hundreds and hundreds of hours of gameplay, full of discovery, including side quests that end up rivaling the main quest line, hundreds of different weapons and armor sets. It's absolutely jam-packed with things to do. You play as your own character, who you can create from character creation. You can pick your race, your sex, your hair, and then you are thrusted into a huge open world, and it's completely up to you what you do next. You can be a warrior with a massive axe, or you can be a stealth player, or you can play as a mage and learn all-powerful spells, or you can leave your combat and level up your speech and just become a Skyrim millionaire or work on a farm. Anything, it's completely up to you. But if I can convince you to put the potatoes down for 5 minutes and go and fight a dragon instead, that might entertain you as well. I would like to talk about the followers in Skyrim first. I absolutely love the characters in this game. I can't mention all of them because there's so many, but I'll give a few worthy shoutouts. Some of the best ones are from the Companions quest line, in my opinion. Once you complete that story, you unlock all of the companions as a follower. Aela the Huntress tends to be a favourite in the Skyrim community. She hunts things, she's great with a bow, and you spend the most amount of time with her in that storyline. Jazargo from the College of Winterhold levels up the highest with you, so he's technically the most powerful follower, and he can throw spells at people, so he is a must-have. I like Randir from the Dawnstar quest. He has a flawed history and is an interesting follower to have along the way. He's got spells and he's good up close and personal, so another great one to have. But there's one follower that ranks above all the others, the prototype for the Fallout 4 followers. Serana from the Dawnguard DLC is my favourite follower in Skyrim. She has tons of dialogue options, way more than the other three combined. She's also a vampire and is very strong, and is also Mary Jane from the Spider-Man games, so go get Serana. You are the Dragonborn, a mortal with the blood of a dragon. You can learn the dragon's ancient way of speech called shouting by simply absorbing a dragon's soul when you kill them. You can yeet people off cliffs or breathe fire or unleash the most destructive, overpowered shout in the game where you unleash the skies themselves and create a massive storm that cannot be contained. Recently, I have been putting the difficulty all the way up to Legendary for one massive reason. The dragons seem almost unstoppable. The way dragons are described in the lore, they are feared by everyone, and if you crank up the difficulty, one dragon could potentially wipe out Riverwood or any town or city if you fail to take it down. I absolutely love the intensity of the music when a dragon swoops down out of nowhere and attacks a town or city. Some NPCs run and hide, some take up arms, and when all the guards and the Dragonborn are together trying to take down one dragon, it's truly one of the most epic things ever in a game. Skyrim has one of the greatest open world maps ever put into gaming. It's about 15 square miles, which is big, but it's not the biggest map ever. It's about half the size of Red Dead Redemption 2's map, to give you an idea. However, it is a joy to explore. For me, a lot of game maps are too flat and there's nothing in them. Skyrim's map has huge mountains, marshlands, a Yellowstone volcanic looking area, forests, caves, dungeons, dwarven ruins, murky and misty looking areas. The map never looks the same. It's divided into different holds. Each hold has a different capital city, and the landscape looks different in each one. The lighting will change, the enemies can differ, the animals that live in the northern part of the map tend to be more powerful, evolved in a harsher, colder land, and will give you a tough time if you're not prepared. It's all these things combined that make the world feel absolutely huge. There's so much depth to it that it feels way bigger than what it actually is. Skyrim has my favourite gaming soundtrack. I love the movie level epicness, whether you're fighting Draugr or walking around the countryside or getting jumped by bandits. Even when there's nothing happening in Skyrim, it's so relaxing and the music is mesmerising. Skyrim is one of the few games that when there isn't a fight or a mission, it's those quiet moments that still keep you immersed, and it has this feeling of wonder to it that no game has quite managed to emulate since, which is why I think Starfield might shake up the gaming scene, but we'll see. Walk around the cities dotted around this huge map, filled with NPCs who could randomly just give you an entirely new quest out of nowhere. Skyrim is home to the Nords, you see, a proud race of northerners, but a lot of them don't like the elves. Some races aren't even allowed in some of the cities, like the Khajiit and the Argonians. If there's one thing that upsets me, it's putting down an entire race because of personal grudges. High elves are the absolute scum of the earth. They're tall, arrogant, and are responsible for the evil organisation, the Thalmor, who have banned the worship of Talos, one of the gods in the Skyrim lore, and pretty much control the Empire. They are racist and look down on humans. They will literally say it to your face if you come across them. Want some awesome mods? Want to improve the graphics or improve the lighting or get the awesome AI mods where the companions talk back to you?
Erica, can you carry my burdens better than Lydia?
Are you still traumatized from the last time Lydia dropped all your pots and pans?
Unless you have the PlayStation version, you don't get as many, but on a side note, go look at the AI companion mods on YouTube. It's mind-blowingly awesome. There are hundreds of quests. I've been playing Skyrim for years, and every now and again, I stumble across a quest, and I'm like, I've never seen this before. Skyrim is massive. You feel completely free to do whatever you want. You can be playing the main quest line, and you don't ever have to complete it. You could get completely sidetracked by side quests that turn into storylines that are just as good as the main quest line. I particularly love the Thieves Guild one. That one is full of betrayal and there's twists within the story that make it really interesting. It's also more grounded. The main quest is saving the world from dragons. The Thieves Guild one is an inner drama about the members of the guild. It's smaller in scale, but it's dark and you get one of the best costumes in the game if you complete it. To put it into perspective how massive Skyrim secretly is, let's pick another massive fantasy game. The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt is one of my all-time favourites as well. The map is around 3 times the size of Skyrim's. It has 2 massive DLCs as well, and it was released 4 years after Skyrim. Averagely, it takes 180 hours roughly to complete the entire game, side quests and all. That is absolutely insane, and I'd advise you to play it if you haven't. Skyrim takes around 250 hours to complete it all. Now that is if you try to mainline it and know in advance where all the quests are. If you play it normally and you don't know where things are and just freely explore and get lost in just running around, people are taking 500 to 700 hours to complete it. Even I've been playing Skyrim for over 11 years and I have never seen all the aspects of the game. Like yesterday, playing it for this review, I discovered that you can go to Maven and clear Mercer's bodyguard's debt by finding a magic quill that he lost in a lake. Never ever knew that. I just killed him every time. There's quest lines I stumble across now and again, completely new to me, so you'll play it for years without seeing everything. You can also join the likes of the Companions, another great storyline, where you join a group of warriors, and whilst it's a good quest, the storyline isn't the best thing about it for me. If you do this questline, you unlock the ability that blew my mind when I first played it. You unlock the power to turn into a werewolf, a proper werewolf, and it is phenomenal. I adore the ability to morph into a 7-foot killing machine. You can punch people across rooms and eat people and run faster than a horse. It can completely turn a fight on its head, and all of a sudden you can smash up a frost troll like it's nothing. And it absolutely gets better from there. You have all this history as a werewolf, and then the vampires attack in the Dawnguard DLC, and the vampires can morph into these giant bat monster vampire things, and they have the gargoyles that are big giant monsters as well. All of a sudden, Skyrim becomes vampires versus werewolves, and it is utterly glorious fighting the gargoyles as a werewolf. You're the same size, but you are one big, tough werewolf, and are more than enough to take them down. You're like the Hulk, basically. I had no idea you could be a werewolf when I first got Skyrim back in 2011. I couldn't believe it when that happened to me for the first time. Werewolves are my favourite monsters, one of them, but I'm fussy about the designs of them in films. My favourite werewolf ever is the one in Van Helsing with Hugh Jackman, and Skyrim's one looks very close to that. I was super pleased. There's also the Dragonborn DLC, where an evil Dragonborn from thousands of years ago returns, and you have to take him down. Dragonborn versus Dragonborn. I like this one because it was the last DLC to be released for Skyrim, and it's the finale of the game in a way. You get a new map, new enemies to battle, new followers, but in the end, it has this new soundtrack that gives it quite a solemn mood at times. Once you've completed everything and then do Dragonborn, you know you're coming to the end of Skyrim, and you begin to look back and realise how special and remarkable this game really is. In the end, Skyrim is my all-time favourite game due to its amazing soundtrack, incredible map, enemies, the amount of quests, and turning into a werewolf and wrecking all the vampires. That's why I'm giving Skyrim the Ross Hendry's Game of All Time Award. Thanks for watching, and be sure to like and subscribe for more videos in the future. Bye!